thing I brought a book to pass the time. A book can be your best companion.
I'm off to London. London, England, that is. I always go to London at this time of year. When I'm in London, I always stay at the St. Remains, and when I'm at the St. Remains, I always have kippers for breakfast the first morning. But I never have a sense of déjà vu. Or maybe I have, but I don't know it.
He's attractive for his age. Looks like he keeps in shape. Probably jogs or something. Or tennis maybe with that tan. But green socks? At least they're dark green.
I'm in sales. Computers, plastics. About 6.8% of my life spent airborne. Does that amaze you? Does that give you pause?
I don't want to leave. Not really. Not wholeheartedly. This wasn't my idea, this move. But what can I do? On the other hand, I didn't want to come here either.
Who knows what's going to happen when you step foot into an airport? This could be my last scene of reality. That ashtray over there full of butts, the PA voice stuffed with smiles. Who really knows?
I wonder, do I look different? I mean, on the inside, I'm the same person, but I guess not the same person. I mean, does it show? Is he gonna guess? You know what? If he notices, I'll just say I'm coming down with the flu or something. Yeah.
I'll miss you terribly.
Me too.
It's never easy saying goodbye.
Right?
It's pain, anguish.
Agreed.
Well, until tomorrow then.
Until tomorrow then.
I'm off to Omaha. Spell O-M-A-H-A. Change plans at Minneapolis. But why Omaha? A good question. Because it's somewhere else. That's why. It's not here.
I wonder if she'll notice I've been working out. I mean, if she doesn't notice, she's got to be blind to something.
This happens to be my 5th Club Med holiday, yippee! That first time improved. My girlfriend and I stayed in a room all night and cried. But later, we really got into it in a way, you know?
I'm an MP. Okay, it's a little bit of a dirty word these days. But take a look at this ticket. Tourist class. Get a load of that. Register that. Remember that. Think about that.
Don't forget to write. Or telephone. Once a week. No, twice a week. Oh God, you promised. Don't you forget it. So, tell me, what is it you really want? Yeah?
Oh God, I could die. I'm so happy. I never thought I'd get back here. I could kiss the ground. No, I couldn't. I wonder if... maybe? Oh, why not?
I can feel my heart beating. When I think of all the hearts in this airport, you can't see
hear them, but they are all thumping away, kaboom, 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 hundreds of them. God, I feel so lonely sitting here. Maybe a cup of coffee or something, a muffin. If I had one wish.
How about a movie?
Afraid not. Not tonight.
A drink then. A quickie.
I'd like to, but
But you're busy tonight, right?
I suppose you might. Yes, that's it. I'm afraid I'm busy.
And you're busy tomorrow night too, right?
Well, yes.
And next weekend?
Look, I'm sorry, but I.
You know what I sense? I sense we're... How can I put this? I sense we're drifting apart.
We hardly know each other. How can we drift?
But we were starting to know each other. Didn't you feel it? That night at the Japanese restaurant. Don't tell me you didn't feel anything.
It was.
It was magic. Say it. Two people with everything in common, their lives enmeshed.
Well.
And now all of a sudden, you're tied up every night of the week.
I wish I could explain, but
But what? There's got to be a reason.
there is, but, well, I think you might find it hard to accept.
I see. It's something about me that you find.
No, it's about me. And about you. I can't explain.
I see. I see.
Flight 89 now boarding at gate 2. Flight 89 for Toronto now boarding.
Now, promise you'll phone Alice if you get a chance.
I'll try. Look, I said I'll try. There's gonna be
She'd
meetings.
love to hear from you. She always loves it.
I'll try. I said I would, didn't I?
Good luck. It'll go fine.
Look, will you take the car in for a loop job on the way?
I'm sure there's nothing to be nervous about.
And tell them to do a good job this time.
Let's see. Thursday night, flight 450. I'll be here.
Tell them I was not pleased. Not at all pleased.
Flight 86 now boarding. Flight 86 now boarding. Step lively for Flight 86.
Yep, Alice, my love.
And tell them to check the goddamn muffler.
Can I help you? I believe you were first.
No, you were first. I'm in no hurry.
Well, that's very kind. I'd like the $1 million policy. If you'll just fill out this form.
I'll take the $1 million policy too. That's the one I always get.
I do too. I know it seems a little silly, but Jim, that's my husband, travels an awful lot.
So does Robert.
I get how worried about him.
I'm an awful worrywart myself. Robert doesn't even know I buy insurance when he flies.
Oh, my Jim doesn't either. He'd think I was morbid. He'd think it was a waste of money.
Isn't that amazing? You won't believe it, but Robert says exactly the same thing.
Jim would think I was downright neurotic if he knew I bought insurance every time he went up.
I never let on to Robert. I get the $1 million policy every time.
Me too. I have, for years.
What a coincidence.
Well, you have to think about how you manage.
If you sure as hell do.
Well, I know better. I know the statistics.
It only makes sense. The more time you spend up in the air,
Your number's bound to come up.
exactly.
It's a responsibility. Picking out insurance, that's how I look at it.
The way that I look at it is, say I get the full $1 million. I put half of it into short-term investment certificates, but shopping around for the best interest rate, of course.
You have to shop around.
I put a quarter into government bonds. Can't go wrong there.
That's what I do. Government bonds.
And I put the remaining quarter into energy stocks. Energy's the future.
You'd probably have a house to maintain too.
Well, I thought about that, you know? And I think if Robert, no, if anything, I think I'd put the house up for sale.
Really? You think that's wise?
Well, what I picture is one of those new condos on Wellington Crescent.
Wonderful view from some of those condos.
Well, and look at it this way. When you want to get away for the winter, you just shut the door and go.
Once, we went to Bermuda, but
Winter's Robert's busiest time of year, so we don't get away much either. But if I were on my own, well, this is going to sound batty, but I've always wanted to go to New Zealand or Australia.
not me. I'd head back to Bermuda.
Well, if you got into a condo like me, you could go to Bermuda whenever you wanted. Just shut the door.
I think what I'd do is subdivide
Subdivide.
the house. I mean, if Jim... Well, I've had this idea for years. All I need is the second floor for my personal use. I have to close out the stairs, and of course I need to get a really good architect, but it's a big house. I figure I could get 4 apartments out of it easily.
Why not? Maximize your income, and you'd have your own little apartment.
And I'd probably want to refurnish too, you know? Go in for something lighter. Wicker, maybe.
Oh.
But if Jem's not here, and I know he'd want me to be comfortable.
I think Robert feels the same.
One thing for sure is I'd get a waterbed.
What an idea. You know, they say waterbeds are just wonderful for your back, but Robert thinks
Oh,
that
Jim says they make him seasick. Gurgle, gurgle all night. We had one in a hotel in Bermuda, and I loved it. It was a funny thing, but I had the most wonderful dreams in that bed. And I mean, wonderful. Kind of dreams I haven't had since I don't know when.
Well, in that case, I think you should definitely get the waterbed. As a matter of fact, I'd go back to university.
Really?
No, once I move into the condo and I'm running for the insurance, I have to do something with my time. I can't spend all my time roaming Australia and New Zealand.
So you'd get a degree. Well, I think what I'd do is open a china shop. A sort of boutique, you know, just very, very good things.
You could have a bridal register.
Oh, I'd have to have a bridal register. I know times are bad, but...
People are still getting married.
And I think I have a really good business head, even if Jim says.
Yeah, the world of business is fascinating.
Full of fascinating people.
Well, then it's not entirely possible that you or I might meet somebody in the business world, I mean. Anything could happen.
A man, you mean?
Well, something like that. If something comes along, why not?
You mean you might remarry if your husband...
Well, people aren't meant to be alone.
That's what Jim always says.
No, we all need companionship. I think we owe it to ourselves.
But remarriage?
Well, maybe not remarriage, maybe just a relationship.
A relationship. That might be an interesting thing to... I think I might consider a relationship as well. If.
Ladies and gentlemen, those bound for ordinary and exotic destinations, please board. This is the final call.
Coincidence?
Yes, it is.
I've never seen one like mine before.
I haven't either. I thought mine was the only one there was.
That's what I thought too.
It's not that I haven't looked. I mean, I really have looked. But I've never seen...
Goodness.
What is it?
How can we be sure? Well, this is yours and this is mine.
We could always...
Always what?
Well, I was going to suggest, and I don't want to intrude on or to be overly personal, but I was going to suggest that we...
Please go ahead. Don't be shy.
I was going to suggest that we open them.
No. I never open mine. Never.
I don't either. At least I never have before.
I don't think I could. I'm awfully sorry.
Have you had yours for a long time?
Well, come to think of it, it has been a long time, but
I've always had mine.
you guess so you're attached. I mean, it's not easy. It's hard to think of not having one.
I know just what you mean.
I don't even like to let anyone else touch mine.
That's how I feel. But the truth is, well, the truth is, no one's ever touched mine.
Oh, in my case,
Yes, go on, you can tell me.
the fact is, no one's ever wanted to touch mine.
No one?
No one.
Maybe
Yes.
you'd let me touch it.
I don't know.
Just a little, just a little pat.
I don't suppose. Why not?
There.
Oh. No, not at all. I like it. I enjoyed it. So you let me to give it yours? Just a little pat?
think you could?
There. And there.
Thank you very much. I've got an idea.
What?
Now, no, never mind. Forget what I said.
Please.
Well, no, if you don't like this idea, all you have to do is,
I like it, promise.
well, I was going to suggest, why don't I give you mine and you give me yours? Look, I hope you don't think,
No, what I was going to say is, I think that could be wonderful.
really?
Really.
Well then, here you are.
And here you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going this way?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Well, why don't we?
We might as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you kindly clear the area for the arrival of an important personage?
Where the hell is she?
Are you sure her flight's in?
That's gotta be your luggage.
Oh, gee, that's an awful lot of luggage for one day in this town.
I didn't even want this assignment. I wanted to cover the agricultural support talks.
You did?
Yeah, some real interesting stuff happening on wheat quotas today. Oats, maybe even barley.
Clear the way, boys!
Here she comes.
One show! I love it! I love it! Everything matches suit, blouse, shirt up. Do you call that monochromatic? It's so cool together. Probably spend a week planning what's it wear on a plane, laying it all out on the bed. Oh, wonder what her bedroom looks like. Lots of mirror, I bet. Track lightly. Silky bedspread.
That'll have to do, fellas.
Would you mind answering a couple questions, Miss Horton-Hollis?
I've got 4 minutes and I'm willing to talk about anything except my relationship with Ryan Gosling.
That's completely kaput, right?
Is it true you're in therapy, Miss Horton-Hollis?
Psychic reconstruction, unmasking the self so you can find the true core and being that it.
True core being, can you comment on that?
I'm talking about the amalgam of the absence and the presence, of the intersection of innerness and outerness. The coming together of ethos, nature and anti-nature, the chicken and the egg.
Neat!
All life, you see, is a question of arrivals and departures, of going through gateways.
Gee, that's right when you stop to think.
You travel out as far as you can go. For it. Then, you turn your face 180 degrees and retrace your steps.
So it's like, okay, it's like a circle, a symbol, and the customs officer.
About this
he
thing
kind
with
of
Ryan
represents.
Gosling, you say it's definitely over,
This
but here
person
there's a chance.
is on the quest to the center of being, and you slobs want to talk about some Tinseltown romance?
All I want to know is it on or off?
Off, but talk to me tomorrow.
See, that's the problem with stereotypes, fellas. We get bounced on our heads every time.
If it's a statement you're looking for, gentlemen,
You got a statement?
I'll be brief. The verse is dead. The line is dead. And be sure to get this, gentlemen. Get your pencils ready. The word is dead.
And you are?
It's in the press release. Poet on the road, man with a message.
And the message again is?
I took a course in poetry once, and the prof said all great poetry was about
The poem is about the poem. It's about the poem. It's about the poem. It's about the
Slow
poem.
down,
It's
slow
about
down.
the
I
poem.
can't write that fast.
And if you'd like just one more, gentlemen.
Thank you. There's something I'd like to say to all you out there. It's about the rich and the famous. You see, I meet quite a few of them in my line of work, and well, what I want to say about the rich and the famous is that they're just like you and me. They've got feelings and stuff deep down inside. You know what I mean? Mom?
Hey, it's me. No, it's not Andy, it's Bob. Oh, must be a bad connection. Said it's Bob. Bobby. No, I'm not kidding, it's me. I'm right here in town, out at the airport. No, I'm on my way to Calgary. No, a business trip. Well, I was gonna let you know, but I'm only here for a 25-minute stopover. Didn't want you coming all the way out from the house, just... No, I haven't seen Andy lately. No, he looked fine. Well, I'll just tell him to give you a call, okay? Anyway, Mom, I just wanted to let you know, Irene and the kids are doing fine. Sandy's just had his birthday. And we took all the kids in the neighborhood over to McDonald's, and they had a blast. You should have seen Sandy all surrounded by... No, I can't just call him and ask him if he has a girlfriend. Well, why don't you write him and ask him then? And what did he say? I think you worry too much, Mom. Irene says... Irene? My wife? She says Andy isn't ready to settle down yet. You've got grandchildren, Mom. And they all send you hugs and kisses. I mean, the last thing Muffy said at the airport, it was the cutest darn thing. She said, "Tell Grammy I love her a lot." No, he hasn't moved. What makes you think he's moved? Yes, I think so, the two of them. Well, I don't know, Mom. How can I tell what kind of influence he has on Andy? You can't just lump all interior decorators together. I'll try. Okay, I promise, but I can't tell him how to run his life. He's a big boy. I can't this week, Mom. Because I'm on my way to Calgary. We're opening up a new branch and... Mom, I know you worry. Look, you're getting all worked up for him. He's happy. He's got his life. Well, he's probably happy. Well, he could be. Well, no one's happy all the time. Jesus, I gotta go. I really... Bye, Mom.
Has been delayed due to... Attention all passengers on flight... Because of... We will be delayed for 2 hours. Passengers are asked to...
2 hours, this is a catastrophe. I am expected, I am anticipated.
But this is intolerable. Not to be tolerated. Surely they don't expect one to tolerate.
Oh dear. What next? First the handle of my suitcase breaks. It just snaps in half, and now...
Oh, come on, man. We can put a guy on boat. We can't put a first class.
This is an outrage! The committee will hear about this. Heads will roll. I intend to file a formal report.
My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the delay. The airline has authorized, I'm happy to say, a cup of coffee for each and every inconvenienced passenger.
Well, I should hope so.
Hey, great.
Magnifique. Splendid.
Oh, you know something? There's nothing quite like the smell of coffee.
The best smell on this earth.
Well, there are some people, and I believe I'm one, who holds the opinion that the best smell in the world is...
Yes.
It is only my opinion, of course, but perhaps you have on occasion walked through a virgin forest, no? Early in the morning, after a little fall of rain, it is, how you say, the perfume of nature, the aroma of the earth, an experience that is unrivaled in this world.
Yeah, man.
Speaking personally, I can't help but remembering. Now, this was during the war years, you understand, a time of courage and deprivation. We had strict rationings. And one dry, cold... January, I believe. I returned home from my school. I was 12, 13, a child, really.
Look at this children.
I walked through the door, and I was at once struck by this veritable gale of sensation. Liver and bacon. My mother, she stood in the kitchen with a meat fork in hand. She looked like a priestess.
I guess you kind of had to be there, hey?
My father was a man of simple but severe taste. We were far from being affluent, but a single luxury was permitted. My father's white shirts were sent to be laundered every week. 7 shirts a week. On a second thought, it was 6 shirts a week. He made his Friday shirt do for Saturday as well. Wonderful man. Well, as a boy, I was given the task of fetching his shirts. The laundromat, they no longer exist. Not the same. It was tiny, crowded, steamy, and smell. How can I describe it?
The smell of cleanliness.
I know also this heavenly smell.
Hey, me too, in a way.
That smell of both the comfort of the present and the possibility of the future. Tradition and dignity, comfort and order, the finest smell in the world.
I kind of know what you mean, but...
But what, Michael?
Well, okay, clean smells are great, yeah. But, I don't know, it's just hard to describe.
Try.
Okay, so it's like, I play a little hockey. Well, actually, I play a lot of hockey. Yeah. And my dad, he keeps all of my old ice skates. Yes, he's kind of Yeah, he's got this old cardboard box down in the basement, and it's just filled with my old stinky ice skates. Little itty bitty ones this big, right up to the size 12s I was wearing when I won provincials. Oh. Yeah, I just have to say, man, that smell of stinky old ice skates is just about the smell of all smells.
You know what happens? Go to a party when you first get there. That chip and debris blowing in from the living room, and cologne and aftershave.
Once. Well, my husband, he travels a fair amount. He's a consultant. And he usually comes home with this suitcase just chock full, just bulging with dirty underwear and stuff. I'd open it up and, whew! Well, last year, he went to Mali. That's in Africa.
Yep.
Well, I opened up his suitcase. He had it all washed there at the hotel. They wash stuff by hand, he said, and hang it in the bushes in the back of the hotel to dry. I couldn't believe it. What my nose was smelling. It was like
The smell of purity.
fresh linen. Nothing like it. It was that. More. What I was smelling, I soon realized, was Africa. I could smell Africa.
Excellent. Hey, that's like...
McDonald's!
A nice new newspaper when you first open it.
Oh, no newspaper.
Peanut butter when you first open it.
Anything you have to work out to open.
A personal
That's
new
right.
haircut smells good too.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what I find so marvelous is that we each have a smell that is all at home. Yeah.
Is now ready to board. Please go to gate.
Well, if you will follow me, please.
Popcorn. A good old-fashioned bowl of popcorn.
A fun piece of furniture when you polish it.
Coffee, boy. A fresh cup of coffee for sure.
Whoa! Hello?
Hello.
I know
You know what?
about it. I know all about it. Everything there is to know. I know.
It?
About why you're so busy every night.
Oh,
I don't see how you thought you could keep this from me. Keep this a secret from me?
I didn't want to hurt you. I knew you wouldn't be able to understand.
How can I not understand?
Do you remember that night at the Japanese restaurant?
As if I could ever forget that night.
Do you remember we were talking and everything was so, and then you told me what you thought about women who
Go on.
About women who are training for their pilot papers, about women having no place in the air.
In the cockpit is what I said, the cockpit!
Exactly!
You were the best flight attendant working for this airline, and now you suddenly just want to throw it
This
away.
is something I've always wanted.
But why?
This is my dream. This is my dream. I was hoping you might share it with me.
Why did it have to come to? Just when? Why must you?
You've got a few minutes, sweetie.
I know.
Unless you'd rather go through now.
Not unless,
Unless what?
I mean, you know. There's no reason for you to stick around. You know, these farewells are so phony. No one knows what to say. Or maybe they do, they just don't say it.
I think you're right. Why is that, I wonder?
We think we have to say something big, something important. That's the problem.
Like, did you pack your winter coat? Do you have your money in a safe place? Do you, by the way, your money?
For heaven's sakes, Dad.
What about your down jacket? You know, Vancouver's not all that
You
balmy.
see what I mean?
I suppose what I should do is give you some advice.
Advice?
Fatherly advice. But I guess the last thing you want is some advice.
No, that's not true. I think I'd like some advice. You know, something primal and wise from the great house of age.
My golden opportunity. You know, In your 22 years, you've never asked me for advice.
Well, here's your chance. Give me some advice. I won't promise to take it, just to listen.
I suppose that's something. Okay, here it goes. Are you sure he's the one?
Is he the one? You and Mom haven't asked me that for 3 weeks steady.
I know, but now I'm really asking.
Let me ask you a question. What exactly do you mean by this little word, sure?
I mean, do you feel it? Do you feel that absolute certainty that there's a future for you?
Shit, when it comes down to it, there's not an awful lot anyone can be 100% certain of. You can get into a car accident driving home. We can't even be sure of the next 5 minutes.
Look, what I'm asking you is, do you, from time to time, have doubts?
You don't like him. Is that it? I mean, basically, is that it?
My liking him or not liking him is immaterial.
But what is it about him? Is it because he didn't get me a Christmas present? Big deal.
Okay, I'm going to try this on you once more. Are you sure?
You're trying to wear me down.
I love you, that's all.
I wish you could get through your head that things are different now. Say it doesn't work out. It's not like it was in your day. You don't have to stick it out forever. You don't have to spend the rest of your life paying for it.
Is that what you really think?
I'm just saying, if...
You do feel pretty sure then?
How sure was Mom when you got married?
She was sure?
I'm sure she was. But those days were simpler, in a way.
I was sure too.
Is it because he sells computers? Daddy, I just don't
We
understand.
were both sure. Your mother and I. When we got married, it was forever. That's why we had to be so sure, or else we... you're not even listening to me, are you?
No, I'm listening. It's just... I guess I got a question for you then. Why on earth have you and Mom stayed together all these years? And whatever you say, please don't say it was for my sake, because it would break my heart if I know that you and Mom stayed together for me.
Your mother and I...
Flight 411, boarding for Vancouver at gate...
I suppose your mother and I believe...
Listen. You don't have to stick it out any longer. Look at me. I'm 22 years old. I've grown. I'm off on my own. You don't have to hang in there for the rest of your life.
There have been lots of good times.
How many? 1 good time? 2 good times?
A few. A few.
But a few isn't enough.
Sweetie, you're going to miss your plane.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go.
And I never got to give you any advice.
Well, did your father give you any advice when you got married?
He did give me some advice, yes.
And did you take that advice?
Yes, I did.
I can just bet what kind of advice he gave you.
You've got it.
I think he said, son, you've got to do the honorable thing.
Look,
I think he pulled you aside and said, son, you've got this sweet young girl in trouble, and you've got to do the honorable thing and make her your wife. I've known for years, ever since I could add and subtract. So you did the honorable thing, didn't you? Oh, Dad.
Those were different times.
Well, look what you got. You were noble and honorable, and you got nothing.
I got you, sweetie.
That's so corny.
Maybe it is, but maybe it's true. You know, if things don't work out, you can always come back. We'll be here.
But you don't have to be here. You haven't been listening to a word I said, have you? I just said that you don't have to stay.
And I just said, we'll be here. Just keep that in mind. In case.
Okay. Gotta go.
Be happy. Be kind to each other.
That kind of sounds like advice. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's free.
Droopy. Are they ever droopy? How do they get that droopy? From not wearing a bra, probably. It makes me feel droopy just looking at them drooping away.
I'm early. Quite early. As a matter of fact, I'm 2 hours early. My father was always the same, always early. Although, of course, he traveled by train. I was up at 6:30 this morning, had my breakfast, bran flakes, and a cup of tea. Mr. Skelton came and picked me up at 8 sharp. Well, he took me all the way into Red Bluff, right to the bus station, and said, "Well now, are you sure you'll be okay crossing the drink on your own?" And I said, "I sure am. I was there in plenty of time." I even had enough time for a cup of coffee. The girl at the counter said, "Well, well, I hear you're going all the way over to England, Mrs. Kitchell." And I said, "That's right, you heard right. And I'm sure you probably know that I'm off to visit my brand new grandson, 6 months old." "Is that right?" she said, and gave me the look. Well, the bus finally came along. We made our way into the city just about noon, and then I caught my bus out to the airport. Well, here I am. Ugh, I'm almost done. These teensy-weensy sleeves are the devil. See, it's for little Mo. Mo. What a name. It's actually short for Mohammed. Now, here's an interesting fact. What is the most common first name in the world? A great question for a quiz program, because I'm sure you're probably thinking that it's John or Jim or Bill, but nope, it's Mohammed. And that is on account of all the Mohammedans that have to name their first sons that particular name. It's kind of a rule, like the Catholics used to have, when they would name their first daughters like Mary or Mary Gladys or Mary Grace and so on. Well, when Susan finally sent along the birth announcement, she said, "Now, Mother, be sure to put it in the local paper." And well, I did just what she said. Only, I didn't put the name in. I just said, "A little son born to Dr. and Mrs. B. Causey." Mrs. Causey being the former Susan Kitchell of Rosie Rapids, and so on. Well, the phone half rung off the wall. Everybody wanted to know what they were going to call it. But I just kept mum. I wasn't about to tell the whole world that I had a grandson named Mohammed. Well, after a time, I did let the hint drop that Susan had nicknamed the baby Mo. See, Mr. Skelton, he's the only person that knows about the name Mohammed, and he says it's a real nice name. I wonder. Yes. No, yes, I expect he'll have dark hair, even on account of Susan being so fair. And you know, I knew when she went on her trip over to England that something would happen, that she'd meet someone foreign. Premonition. I didn't think this, though, that she'd marry. Oh, well, you can't run your children's lives for them. If they want to marry someone, they're going to. And like I said, just took some getting used to.
Are you Mrs. Kitchell of Rosie Rapids, the lady who's gone flight 223 to Heathrow this afternoon?
Why, yes, that's me.
I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Kitchell, but I have something rather disappointing news for you.
Why? What on earth?
Nothing serious. Nothing to worry about. Just an overbooking. This happens all the time.
An overbooking. Now, is that when there's more people?
Yeah, more people than there are seats. That's it. And we're really awfully sorry.
So I won't be able to go?
You're able to go tomorrow instead of today.
Tomorrow, but I was up at 6:30 today.
But we will put you up a nice hotel tonight.
But my daughter's expecting me, and so is little Mo.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is going on here? Why exactly has this particular passenger been bumped, if you don't mind my asking?
It's just routine. Planes to Heathrow's overbooked.
Oh, and why is it suddenly overbooked? It wasn't overbooked yesterday when I made my reservation.
Things happen.
What kind of things? It wouldn't by any chance have anything to do with those animals.
It happens to be the national all-star team. They'll be playing England, London, tomorrow night, representing all of us. You and me and Mrs. Kitchell.
Balls! Everybody knows there's 5 players on a basketball team.
But they never travel together.
How long have you had your booking?
Well, dear, let me think. It was right around July, just before little Mo was born.
You hear that? This woman has had her ticket since July. And all of a sudden, these greasers come along and flex their muscles and wave their little flag, and now they're on and this passenger's off?
We'll be happy to notify Mrs. Kitchell's relations in England, but...
Listen to me, Mrs. Kitchell. Don't let them do this to you. Do you want to know why they chose you to bump? They said to themselves, let's find ourselves a little old lady on the passenger list. It's called an LOL. Always accommodating, always making sure not to make too much of a fuss. Now, is that true or is that not true?
Well, I don't know.
What an LOL is. Faced with a direct question, she says, well, I don't know.
Well, I think you should know that these young athletes are going to represent our nation.
And who does Mrs. Kitchell here represent? Mrs. Kitchell represents the LOLs of the world. We're talking 10% of the human race.
Gee, you don't see all that many little ladies around.
Well, that's because they're little, remember?
Hey, that's right.
But when did they get little? They were little young ladies, but what happened? I'll tell you what happened. They were told to keep their voices down. They were told to keep their feet together and their hands on their laps with their elbows tucked in.
What else? What else?
Some of them got to be so small that they got to be invisible. They're voiceless. They've got no guts. But I ask you, is it their fault that they've got no guts?
No.
Their guts have been stolen from them over the years. Too fragile for sports, too dizzy for math, too unclean for church.
Well, there was this one woman preacher in Rosie Rapids last summer.
Tokenism.
Their boyfriends told them to give over, but their husbands told them to lie back. And their son said, "When's dinner?" They go to a restaurant and they get a table by the washroom.
Yes, that's right.
No one ever offers them a wine menu. All they ever get is a stinking pot of tea.
Well, sometimes a nice pot of tea.
They join a political party and they get stuck on the coffee brigade. They go on trips sometimes, but they never go on journeys. Look at her. She can't even stand up straight. She's so used to making herself agreeable and grateful and nice that she just faded away.
His name is Mo. That's short for Mohammed. And he's just the sweetest little cutie pie, the greatest little bundle of joy.
Yeah, Mrs. Mitchell was going to visit her grandson, Mo, taking him a little sweater that she made with her own two hands.
Why, that's true.
It's not our fault, we're just following orders.
Mrs. Control, you're gonna have your seats. You're gonna be flying London, England. You get 8 hours with little Mo in your arms. You're LOL, and that's something to stand up and to be proud of.
Come with me, Miss Kitchell. It's time to board.
It's time!
Glory, glory, hallelujah!
Here I am reading Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky. A year ago, I was flipping through some magazines,
Excuse me, lady. You lost something?
What do you think?
If it's contact lenses, give up. People all the time use their contact lenses, but no one ever finds the contact lens. That's a fact. You ever hear someone say, "Hey, I found this contact
Oh, my
lens"?
my contact lenses are here.
Earrings, then? But let me tell you something. It's not worth it. Someone finds an earring, they put it right in their pocket, especially if it's gold. People aren't crazy.
I don't wear earrings. I don't believe in earrings. Earrings are not part of my belief system.
You lose a dime or something? Listen, it's not worth it. Crawling around this dirty floor for a dime? What the hell? Let me give you a dime.
You think I care about money?
Hey, I get it. What you've lost, it's something metaphysical.
What do you know? How'd you guess?
I work in an airport. You know what an airport is? It's the crossroads of a million private lives. A gigantic stage on which are played 1,000 dramas daily.
Yeah.
People coming, people going. Departures, arrivals, it's an equation of the absurd. Going cancels out coming. See, and that really means nobody's going anywhere.
Hey!
We're all standing still. Like you and me here, we're powerless.
What about space travel? What about our astronauts?
Interesting question. The answer is, we've given up on this world. Hey, we gave it a few million years and it didn't work out, so now we gotta move on. It's our last chance to express our will.
That's it. That's what I'm looking for. My will. My freedom not to act.
Give up, Nikki. You're in the hands of the historical dynamic. You can't do a blessed thing, but move along.
Well, I refuse to believe that.
Don't believe them.
I don't believe we always have to rush towards some theoretical destination. Departing, arriving, going in circles. I can choose.
What?
I can choose nothing. Stillness. I can just be.
That's a real nice thought. But sentimental, if you don't mind my saying so. Don't you know that sitting still is boring?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last and final and ultimate call for non-traveling passengers. This is our 0-hour call.
Lady, you're gonna miss your plane.
Only plane I recognize is the plane of the inner consciousness.
I would give you odds on the inner consciousness. It can land you in hot water. See that couple over there? They're sad. Real sad. A case in point.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
I suppose I really should say congratulations.
So you heard them. My first solo. All alone up there, just me and the clouds and that great big unforgiving sky.
What I can't understand is how someone like you, especially
It
someone...
went beautifully. My supervisor gave me full marks. In 3 weeks I'll have my exams, and then maybe, maybe when the time comes, maybe we could celebrate.
Celebrate?
My treat. Dinner maybe. That Japanese place.
I'm pretty busy these days.
And nights too?
I wish things could have been different.
Different? Ah, I see.
Well,
I think he's looking at me. He is! What would happen if he wanted to sort of look down and said, hey, not only you're an attractive woman, but you're doing Crime and Punishment, my favorite book, or something along the lines. And I would say, well, I sort of, I'm into that at the moment.
Hello? Is this Mrs. Harrow? Please, may I speak with Mr. Harrow? It is a business affair, oui? Josh, it's me. Ta-da! I'm not at the airport. I know, but I was hoping you would answer, damn it. Anyway, I told her it was a business affair. Besides, I was curious. Well, just a little curious. Well, just to see what her voice was like. No, I thought she sounded very soft. Nice. Friendly, sort of. Sweet, in fact. Damn it. Josh, look. I'm just in between planes kind of thing. Edmonton. The usual. We're setting up a new show. Anyway, what I want to know is, do you think you could get to Edmonton for a couple of days? I guess this means you haven't told her yet. No, I know. Well, you did say as soon as she got her root canal work done. You did say that. Oh, she didn't sound like she wasn't paid. No, I know it's serious. No, I'm not making light of it. Oh. I never met anyone who got a jaw realignment. Is she thinking about it, or? It's definite then. No, I agree. You're right. Only an out-and-out bastard would... No, I'm being serious. No, I am not being cynical. Teeth are teeth. We gotta hang on to our teeth. We gotta hang on to something in this rotten life.
8492 for Los Angeles has been delayed. Passengers are asked to...
Excuse me.
me?
Please help me. Is this the right line?
I hope so.
Long. It's long, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm standing here 5 minutes, hasn't budged.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Oh, I knocked you with my backpack.
Don't mention it, never felt a thing.
Oh boy, look at this crowd. I wonder if it ever dies down.
Doubt it. I travel a lot and I've hardly ever seen a really quiet airport. I mean, really quiet.
Flight 492 for Los Angeles has been delayed and will now depart at 9:05.
Oh no, that's my flight. 9:05. That's 3 whole hours from now.
You really are early.
Well, what about you? What flight are you?
LA, same flight.
Oh, so you're kind of early too. There's that guy over there just barking for that lady there.
You have to wonder at guys like that.
A type. A for aggressive.
K for klutz.
People like that, I don't know. I took this night course one time, different personality types, But basically they're insecure and afraid of the world and just can't help but push people around.
I guess my girlfriend's a little like that. Very aggressive. she were here, she'd be up at the front demanding to know why we're late.
Could be the pilot stick. You know, I used to want to be a pilot once. Isn't that crazy? Talk about being unrealistic.
I don't know, things are changing.
Well, we talk about taking charge and all that, but do we ever ask ourselves what we really want?
Never. Well, hardly ever, only in my case. I think I know, sort of.
You know what you want?
Passengers for Flight 492 to Los Angeles are advised that departure time is now 9:05.
So what is it? What do you want?
Well, it's a little hard to describe, but let me ask you this. Have you ever tasted goat's milk?
Goat's milk?
Or listen, have you ever eaten goat's cheese? Lots of times in restaurants you get those little chunks of white cheese in your salad.
Oh yeah, sure, I know.
That's goat's cheese. Usually. There's nothing like it.
So you want to get into the business? The goat cheese business?
There's a future in it. You know, I've shown my girlfriend some market projections, but she's... I mean, you can make a very nice goat's milk soap. Great for the... excellent for the skin.
But doesn't it...
I know what you're going to say. People always think goats smell.
So you're saying it's not true then? You're saying that goats smell good?
Yeah, it's the kind of smell you get used to. You almost get you like it. And the other thing is that goats have excellent dispositions. They're independent, proud animals, but they can also be very affectionate with human beings.
So, you've made up your mind. You want to get into the goat cheese business.
Well, no, I doubt it. It's unlikely, all things considered.
Passengers for Kansas City, Flight 91 may now board at Gate 12. Passengers for Kansas City may now board at Gate 12.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying.
I just said, just because you want to do something doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen.
Oh, I know what you mean. Oh, brother, do I ever know what you mean?
Things, they just get in your way.
Let me guess. Your girlfriend doesn't go for goats.
Hey, you're very intuitive.
Well, you know, I took this course last winter and
It's not just goats. It's the lifestyle she can't handle.
Well, it would be a major change, but hey, sometimes a major change is what we need. A good hard kick, if you know what I mean. Actually, the reason I'm going to LA is...
She's always lived in a large city.
Your girlfriend?
She thinks nature means walking around a park, looking at the grass. She thinks flowers come in borders.
Well, you know, I think that, you know...
Concerts, museums, archives, she's used to having it all. You know, in fact, that's where we met, at the art gallery.
Wow, it's hard to meet people in a big city. I've actually tried to
The guide was taking us around, a bunch of us, and there was this woman carved out of stone with a big hole in her body.
You know, my parents met, believe it or not, a bridge party.
Anyway, the guide said that the hole in her body represented a sense of incompletion in all human encounters.
You know, my grandparents met at a prayer meeting, a Wednesday night prayer meeting. Can you imagine it's Wednesday night and someone says to you, hey, let's go to a prayer meeting.
And then after the tour was over at the art gallery, she and I went to this little place for coffee.
Some people recommend singles bars.
Oh, wait, we seem to have a lot in common.
You know, as a matter of fact,
but now, after 6 months, I don't know if we have anything in common at all. I mean, you start to wonder.
I see.
It's like I've got a hole in me. But she doesn't even notice.
Exactly.
Lately, you seem to be fighting all the time. Like last week, she came right out and accused me. I could hardly believe this, of being selfish. I mean, in our relationship, I'm the one that vacuums. Did my father ever vacuum? And not only that, but... What I was going to say is, I'm the one who takes the sheets down to the laundromat.
That's where I've seen you. You usually use machine number 3. Drinking coffee out of a paper cup, cream, no sugar.
Right.
And you are usually buried in a paper bag. I think last week it was
The War of the Last Planets.
Right. I'm sure of it. You know, I asked you for 4 quarters for $1 once for the dryer, and you said no.
I did?
You didn't even look up from your book. You didn't even check your pockets. You just said no.
Well, I never carry a lot of change on me.
That's not what it was.
Maybe...
You just didn't want to take the trouble.
Maybe he was some other guy. I don't remember any of this happening.
Oh, of course you don't remember. You know what? Your girlfriend's right. She hit the nail on the head. You are selfish.
Hey, wait a minute. Just a minute ago, we were having a great conversation.
Oh, conversation. You call this a conversation? I stand here and I listen to you rattle on about your goat's milk and your girlfriend and how much of a hero you are because you take a couple of sheets down to the laundromat. Hey. What about me? What about me?
What?
Why don't you ask me about me? Me, like what I want out of life and when I'm going to LA and whose sheets I'm taking down to the laundromat every Saturday morning.
You know what I thought? I thought here's one woman who's a damn good listener. You know, my girlfriend on the other hand.
Oh, please, I don't want to hear about your girlfriend.
Hey, look, I'm sorry, really. I am.
You should be. You should be.
Could you Give me another chance? I mean it. I can't stand it. I want to know. What do you want?
No, it won't work now.
Please?
I just want to meet someone. And it's hard. You know, I ask questions, I draw people out, but for once, why can't someone just draw me out?
There are church groups.
People always say that.
Or the art gallery. No, not a good idea. Forget that.
I thought maybe an airport. Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, I knocked you with my backpack again.
That's a nice backpack. I really like the stitching.
Oh, thanks. I hope so.
Why not? You know, just to pass the time, why don't you tell me a bit about yourself? This course you're taking?
She must be 100 years old. They must notice it. People must notice how they're getting older and older. At the minute you are born, it starts getting... Your skin gets older, your fingernails gets older, even your eyebrows gets older. And when you breathe out the old breath.
That's mine, I believe.
Well, I thought it might be.
You must be Wesley.
That's right, I am.
Well, I'm Myra.
Ah, pleased to meet you. Heavy.
Heavy?
But not too heavy. You expect a suitcase to be heavy? Well, that's almost light.
You said you'd be wearing a wool overcoat. That's how I knew you.
Oh, well, it's not much of an overcoat. I shouldn't have worn it, but I said I would.
Looks just fine to me. Serviceable. For the climate, I mean.
That's what I think.
So what if it's a little worn? It's good quality to start with. And I can tell that's 100% wool. I mean, where are you going to find that these days? Where you get synthetics or blends. Though some of those blends are marvelous in their ways. For wrinkles.
Oh, yes, that's true. For wrinkles.
Flight 756 for Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia now boarding.
I shouldn't have come. My sister, Ruth, I wrote you about her. She said this would never work out. Two people with nothing in common.
But you just got here.
We just met and all talked about his old overcoat. I don't usually go on this way. I'm gonna give you the chance to speak.
Oh, I'm not a great one for talking. I think that's why...
You haven't met anyone?
Since my wife
Died.
No, she was a talker.
Not my husband. He was a quiet man, kept to himself. Look here, there was a lot going on.
Oh.
So I never knew what it was.
Well, I guess I'm a little like that.
Still waters.
Run deep.
Last call for Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia.
I shouldn't have come here. This is ridiculous. I see what Ruth meant when she...
Oh, you're tired. All that distance.
I didn't tell Ruth that you paid for my ticket. She wouldn't have thought it was right. It isn't right.
But I wanted to.
Now, I'm truly not going to say another word. I'm going to give you the chance to speak.
I don't know how to begin. I mean, what topic? I mean...
I am not saying another word.
Well, that's a pretty nice coat you're wearing.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I like that shade of whatever it is, violet.
Blue.
Well, it gets pretty cold here. You need a good warm coat like that. Here.
Go on. You're doing fine.
Well, take this winter, for instance. Coldest winter since 1952. It said so in the paper the other
Get
night.
it now. That is fascinating.
Yeah, of course you can't always believe what you read in the papers. Last fall, it predicted a drought.
And what happened? What happened, Wesley?
Rain.
There, you see, you can't always believe what it says in the paper. So, there was rain, was there? How much rain?
Lots of rain. Of course. I don't mind the rain.
I like to walk in the rain. Of course, I always take my umbrella and galoshes with me.
Oh, that's what caught my eye.
How do you mean, caught your eye?
In the ad.
That ad. I don't know what got into me.
Well, it was the part where it said, likes long walks and gardening.
Ruth said I was out of my mind.
I almost didn't. Right. I mean...
But I was out walking one morning. I do 1.5 miles every day.
That's what struck me. 1.5 miles. Now, I do 3 kilometers, and that's just about, well, give or take a few yards. It's just about,
I was going along this old road. Pretty road. Lots of elms. Though the elms, they're well gone.
I don't know why, but it scared me to death. I was just gonna keep on walking, but then I got so hot that, well, I started to cry. Wasn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard?
Well, I like a good long walk.
Well, I decided right then and there that I'd put an ad out on Rose Lovers Quarterly. Even if it was a crazy thing to do, or like Ruth said, dangerous, maybe. But then your letter came along, and it was the only one. And I knew that I didn't have to worry. But that's not true. I did worry. I worried all the way here.
Well, it's only normal to worry.
And I got my return ticket. It's good up till 6 months.
Oh, that'll give you plenty of time to get acquainted, I mean. And you'll see my roses when they come out.
That's right.
Lots of people in this climate, well, they give up on roses. It's getting them through the winter, that's the problem.
But some of them get through.
I forget who said it, but someone once said a Manitoba rose is a rose that knows no fear.
Knows no fear. I like that.
Well, the spare room I fixed up, well, it's got a nice big closet. You'll like the closet. My wife...
Let's make a pact, Leslie. Let's make a pact. Let's try not to talk too much about them.
Them? You mean...
You know, your wife
and your husband.
Yeah, I have this funny feeling that they're, you know...
Watching us. I know what you mean.
Yeah, looking down at us and saying, aren't they the sillies?
My wife...
That we were going to...
just this once. My wife was not very well. Almost an invalid for a long time. But I'm in quite good health. Excellent health.
My husband, well, we were very different. He wasn't all that demonstrative, but I was always demonstrative. It's how I was made. I can't help it.
Well, the spare room I've spruced up. If you're not comfortable there, you could always... It does have a nice closet, though.
I don't have a lot of clothes. Just a couple of my things. My walking shoes.
Good.
And a few rose cuttings.
Cuttings.
And a couple of my garden tools. A person gets used to row and trowel.
That's true. A person does get used to things.
But a person can change. Adapt.
New growth.
I like the way you put that. New growth. Shall we go? Are you sure it isn't too heavy?
Oh, light as a feather. A feather.
6 months and she'll have her fill.
She is gonna talk his ear off. Poor fellow.
Foolishness.
Well, shall we get on our way?
Two hours is a long time. 120 minutes. I've really changed this year. My life's really, well, I'm older this year. More in control, sort of. A year ago, I'd be sitting here worrying about how I looked and all that, and now I look like someone who's got it together. You sent for me?
I did.
Well, here I am, sir.
So I see.
Reporting for duty, sir?
Do you realize you've been assigned with me the New Northwest flight?
I do.
You're aware of my feelings about?
About women in the cockpit? Yes, I do, sir. I can apply for a transfer, sir.
How can you call me sir? After everything we've meant to each other? That night, the Japanese restaurant.
Don't forget how you struggled. First, the sushi, then with the chopsticks. How hard you tried. Persevering.
It's not easy. Not easy at all for a man like me, to admit that he might be wrong.
Are you saying what I think you're saying? What I hope you're saying?
Not saying that, only that times change. And we all have to.
Sherry Hudgett, please. Sherry, hey, it's great to hear your voice. I bet you can't guess who this is. I'll give you a big hint. Quebec City, 1997. Yeah, that's right. I'm on my way to Seattle, and we had to stop here, so I pull out my book, and there you are. Yeah, I'm out at the airport. No, I'm standing right here. No shit. Where would I?
But when you told me how you felt, I didn't...
I didn't want to hurt you. I tried, you tried, we both tried, but
I thought, who do I know here? And then I thought of you, and that terrific night in Quebec. Well, why don't you just go to the dry cleaners in 25 minutes? Well, tell me quick then. How have you been? Oh. What do you know?
I understand.
no, I understand.
No. We both understand. That's what's so...
Yes! I can't believe it, they're kissing! Like, they don't even notice there's anyone else around. If only... How I long.
Well, I guess I had to say congrats. So, when's the big day? Yeah. Listen, that night in Quebec City, I really remember a lot, in fact, and I bet you do too. Remember we were up at the, what do you call it, that place where you look down and see all the lights, and I really remember that whole night, and the stars and the moon and all that. I thought, this girl's special. I was hoping, maybe, well, wishing you, maybe, well, yeah, no, I know. You gotta go to the dry cleaners, so, well, all the best. Bitch!
Ladies and gentlemen, will you kindly board? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to board. Now, this minute, last call, final call. Departure time has arrived, and that means now.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames and messieurs, we hope you enjoy your flight with us today. The clouds to your left are of the cumulus variety, typical of the region. You are invited to take photographs if you so wish. Oh, look at that. Just look at that. Did you ever? I can never get over it. I look down and suddenly this plane seems to turn transparent and I feel I'm made out of glass and I'm part of the sky and the clouds and oh my God. I look down and there it is. Our own little green planet just spinning and spinning and spinning with its own sweet, crazy, unsingable music and ladies and gentlemen, mesdames and messieurs, we're about to descend. Will you kindly lean to the left? The lady who is not leaning to the left, please do so at this time. We ask that you remove your shoes for landing as we're about to land and require your full cooperation in this matter. Lean left. Thank you. Massey. Left again. I see one of our lady passengers has not removed her designer boots at this time. May we ask for your full cooperation for a smooth and cheerful landing? Lean left. For additional oxygen, open mouth as wide as possible, and please lean forward at this time. And commence with foot action. Left, right, mesdames and messieurs. Gauche, 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 gauche. We hope you enjoyed your flight with us today. I wish you all a pleasant evening. I wish you a splendid evening, a perfect evening. I wish you all a night from which the clouds of pessimism have vanished and the quality of rare moonlight has
sky are at peace. Their frantic comings and goings have ceased. At this moment, the airport sleeps.